you say to SEMA to any one of these kids and they're like, oh my God, another SEMA build. And it's like, that's not what it should be. Like, you got guys like Roadster Shop and all these guys building like phenomenal cars being overshadowed by something that somebody hot glued together in their garage. So I was like, I can't even imagine how frustrating it is, because this guy gets more views. They're being placed on a pedestal. You got a guy that's been doing it for 20 years that's literally a master and has honed his ability to create beautiful products. And then this guy, because he has more views, he's hacked a bunch of stuff together, somehow gets a place to judge this person. I'm like, that I do not agree with.
Welcome back to another episode of Modify with TrickFactory Customs. If this is your first time watching, my name is Elvis.
Tim?
My name is Jorge Enrique Chavez.
That's a very elaborate name.
I think this guy legitimately wants to be named Jorge.
I know.
That's like the third or fourth Jorge he's had out there. That's it, man. Now you're Jorge.
I'm Jorge.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Sweet.
Well, you guys need to say it
no longer
properly.
You got to say it with the,
you need to say it with
sauce on
Jorge.
it.
Okay.
Roll that R like that.
Oh gosh, but regardless of the names that we're talking about, that is Rob, and we are a custom automotive shop based here in British Columbia, Canada, and we just love talking about cars. And on this episode, we are going to talk about SEMA. I know SEMA as, if you guys do not know, it is the Specialty Equipment
Marketing Association.
Yes, and it is a show that happens every November in Las Vegas, and it is like 300,000-400,000 people, probably more, attend it. It's a whole week long, almost a whole week long, and you see all the cool cars, all the cool debuts. Tim and Rob and the shop have been going to SEMA for years and years.
Yeah, like 15 years, I think.
Yeah, we were going there as, like entry level, up and coming builders in the early days, just to spectate. And then as the years progressed with business, we started taking our builds down there, and that's gotten more and more and more elaborate. And we've got to see how it's kind of evolved for ourselves and kind of see where it's going.
So I guess the title of this should be The Evolution of SEMA.
Yeah.
No?
Devolution?
No. Of like the transition of where it used to be and where it is now, because a lot has changed since the advent of the internet or of YouTube, and the quality of things, at least what you guys tell me, has changed. And so Tim and Rob have
bad, right?
So Tim and Rob have a lot of input on this episode. So with that said, we're just gonna get started. Before we get started, actually, how was the week been? The week been? What's been going on for you guys?
Wicked.
I can't talk today. Oh my goodness.
On topic, we've been basically just busting ass on SEMA stuff that we got to get ready to go there. But in the interim, I've finished up a couple of little projects to sort of clear the slate so we can focus. So I finished up the Delahaye. So the Delahay's going home tomorrow. What else did I finish? Something else left too. I can't remember. I don't know. We've done a bunch of stuff, but mostly just focusing on our SEMA project for this year.
Sick.
Yeah,
You're touching my thing.
Whoa. For people that did not know or that are not watching but listening,
no consent
I am touching his microphone.
There's the inner circle, Elvis. You penetrated it.
Penetrated.
You bad man.
I was just pushing the mic closer because he was, kind of like a little bit far from it.
Comfy mics.
I know that you can relax and lean.
Yeah.
That
was my suggestion at the beginning, and you were like, "No."
No, I was not. No, I just said we should start from the bottom and work our way up. So since we've been doing this for over a year now, almost a year, over a year. I don't know. I need to check. So I know the anniversary for Modify with TrickFactory Customs
or is like the 50th episode. Got to be getting close, I think.
Very close, yeah. Very close to a year.
And we've been doing it every single year, so we're getting close.
Every single year.
Week.
Duh.
Yes, we have been doing it every single week, and so we are getting very, very close. And Yes. Okay. So SEMA stuff. You guys have been getting SEMA things ready. You're still allowed to say the name of the things that we're taking, right? To SEMA.
Yeah, and I think we can say where it's going. It's going to Toyo Tread Pass.
Yes.
So we have our G-Wagon that we're taking there. So we've been hauling ass on it and trying to get it. Well, we've been working on it for quite a while, but now we're actually starting to bring all the things together in one place. So the next couple of months are going to be rough, but we've been here before and we'll get it done.
Yeah. And as I heard in the last episode, we can't really make social media stuff about it necessarily until it's out, until the car is debuted. Yeah.
So we can show all those cool little things we're going along the way. But
so check out our Instagram story.
We can't just show, like, we're going to start posting more stuff because, like I say, a lot of stuff's being made now and little bits and pieces are coming together. So it's going to get pretty wild here in the next little bit.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're seeing some big moves on that project right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
yeah, and I've been on the Skylark.
Yes.
I sound like a broken record a lot of times. I've been on the Skylark again consistently for the whole last week. I'm doing a whole bunch of front end stuff. Like, it's just major.
But it's starting to come together and look pretty cool.
I just did a whole bunch of like front bumper modifications, and I'm kind of just getting that's kind of just the starting point of where we're at with that. And I got to make a whole new grill. The hood was shaped, scanned, input into Fusion 360. That's happening. We got a lot of things going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I've been doing Jaguar things. Yes. If you don't know, I got a free XJS 1976.
Unhealthy addiction to Jaguars.
Yes, I have a few of them. So I have been working on putting an LS into it. So
there's an LS in it now.
Yeah,
It's
so I got it mounted. Or we got it. I didn't really do much. You guys got it mounted. Rob and you pretty much helped a lot on that, and so thank you guys so much. Yes, and
we know how we got you figured out, Elvis.
How?
You're not tricking nobody.
No, I'm like, I want to do. I'm gonna do this, and then you guys are like, nah. I'm gonna show you how to do it. I end up doing. I'm like, okay, cool.
Because we like stand on the sidelines, kind of like scratching our heads like a bunch of freaking apes, going, "What the."
You're like, what am I doing? I don't know. So a lot of the things that I do, I don't have like not like a formal training, but I only know from the little stuff that I've seen on YouTube, which might not be the best things a lot of times, or the best steps to do a thing, or I just look at something and I'm like, my brain just automatically thinks it's figured it out, but it's completely the wrong way.
Yeah, and mine does that too.
Yeah.
That's how we got into this predicament as is, because I think I can do things and then I gotta actually do things.
Yes. Yeah. And then Rob and Tim are just like shaking their head and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no.
And yes.
No, because and we don't ever really try to like take over your project per se. It's not exactly what our intention is. But our intention is to sort of like guide you along and sort of like teach you the ways.
Yeah, no, so far I have been learning.
Teach you the ways of doing it in a good, safe way that, you'll be able to turnkey, shred the tires on that thing.
I think it's always easier to help somebody else than before it is to help yourself.
It always seems to be the case.
Because I got tons of shit that I should be doing, and I'm always ended like, nope, get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it means a lot. So thank you guys so much. No, it's good to have, like, again, like I never had any training in any of this stuff, so I don't know my front from my back for the most part with working on cars, and everything that I've done, with even building my Datsun or other projects that I've done in the past, has always just been like, I'm just gonna send it and see what happens. But I've learned that that's not usually the way to go around it. And there's a right way to do things, and there's a not right way to do things. And
then there's like a in between.
Yeah, there's like a sketchy way
on YouTube.
Yeah, I usually resorted for the sketchy way, but I'm trying to not be sketchy and be more legit.
Trying to be better. He's actually trying to be better.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to be better.
Thank you.
And we talk about like our own personal projects in the shop, and we all have them. And like how much funner it is, like you were just saying, it's funner and easier to jump in on someone else's project, because we all like to do these things, but nobody really wants to do it on their own. But if you can just jump in and like you create like this little positive group of
I think they
reinforcing
call it
each
a
other.
work bee.
It's a thing, right? So it's super fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so we kind of do that like a lot. Like it's like, we were working on that one and then we're working on somebody else's and then we just kind of do that. And it's just a thing in our shop.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, so it's fun.
but yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing that Jaguar do a fucking burner.
I know. I've been saying it or dropping it here and there that I want to get that thing running before the end of this month. We're in September right now.
Tall order. It's a tall order.
And you guys have been like, "Ooh, it's not possible." I've been laughing at me. But
Well, that's only because I know what I have to do, and I won't be getting distracted in the next 55 days.
Yeah. I mean, because you're at a point right now in your LS swap Jaguar that you have to start doing some of the harder things.
Yes.
Tedious.
yeah,
So,
the annoying things.
Like you just discovered like a standard LS cast manifold or even the hooker or whatever standard, rear dump manifolds, they don't work in that.
Nope. So after you center
you had
dump
to,
now.
you had to learn the hard way. And fortunately, you were able to take those ones back to the store where you
I know,
bought them.
thank God.
But
Somebody's
somebody's going to win the lotto on
Yeah.
those ones.
I know,
Literally
literally.
prepped and Cerakoted them,
I
so
know.
someone's gonna open the box and think that's the best possible. Like,
Like,
damn,
oh
this
my
is so
gosh,
nice.
this quality, man.
He's
Yeah.
gonna recommend it to like 14 other people, and they're gonna open and be like, "What the hell is this?"
Mine don't look like yours,
It's
bro.
raw.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you had to learn that the hard way, and that's what one of those very common issues in any motor swap. I mean, of course you got to get your motor mounts, trans mount, do all the things, but like the exhaust is usually always the problem. So you got your oil pan clearance, you got your exhaust clearance to the frame rails and all that. Now you have to deal with that.
Yay.
And
I mean,
you are sort of like an entry level fabricator welder guy, so
yes.
the challenge
I
is
think
real.
this is a good point to drop in a picture of your.
Have you
welding.
seen my welds? I was going to say.
Well, there was that site way back in the day. What was it called?
Fab Police?
Fab Police.
Elvis.
It was
he would've been
it was a
again.
shoe in for
No,
the Fab
now
Police
on
page.
Facebook, it's I see you don't know shit about welding. It's so funny.
was
I
that
love
bad.
that page.
So if anybody wants to check that out,
But speaking of the sketchy way to do things, so on my XJ, I also have a 1972 XJ that I also LS swap, but I did it the sketchy way because I was like, there's no way for it to go backwards, and so I'm just gonna cut holes in the front fenders.
oh yeah, yeah.
And just put it
the
fender dumps.
manifolds around?
Yeah.
Because I remember like when we saw that project the first time, and like this was when you were new in our shop. We saw that, and we're like, you got front dump exhaust, and it's NA. Like this
I
thing
know.
is gonna sound like a fucking dragster.
And the pipes were like
So
10 inches long.
Unreasonable. Like Elvis, you can't drive that.
I mean, I can drive it. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna drive it for very long.
Yeah.
After I'm pulled over. So
Well, here in Vancouver, you would get pulled over instantaneously.
instantly jail.
Yeah, they would hear you coming from miles away.
Yeah, I got like these shorty mufflers though that I planned to put on it,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was still gonna be loud.
They're more of like the essence of muffling.
yeah, and I will be inhaling all the fumes I will
So
get
this time around, you're gonna have to
do it properly.
build a real system.
Yes, so that's gonna be fun. I think a C5 Corvette's manifolds will work, but I have to adapt them again, like probably weld a flange on it.
Yeah,
And figure.
I mean
that
this
out.
is some of the most common stuff.
yeah.
That's pretty easy though with those. They actually weld pretty nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
that's
they're
actually
they're steel.
Cast steel.
Yeah.
I mean, and
cast
that's
iron.
Yeah.
this is one of the great things about the LS platform too. Is like the stock manifolds are pretty easily weldable. Like you can get away
We've
with
done it a bunch
It's-
of times.
Nice.
We've
It
welded
works well.
manifolds for like motorhomes.
Yeah,
and all
really?
kinds of stuff.
it works well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that's what I've been working on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so with that said, we are going to get started on today's topic, which is SEMA.
SEMA.
Yes. So tell us about you guys' experience with SEMA from the incept, the start of it.
Start?
Yeah.
Man, when we started going to SEMA was like,
Was it always called SEMA or no?
yeah, it was always
okay.
SEMA. But I don't know, like at that time, SEMA was the promised land.
Oh, it still is.
It's still the promised
No, it
land.
is. But at that time, it was even crazier.
Well-
Because like there was like before, I think at the time, SEMA was like car audio was a big part of SEMA. and has since split off and done its own thing and turned into CES. So you don't see a lot of the really wild car audio builds that, like, generally when you heard of a SEMA build, these were like $1 million demo cars that were built by car audio places that were like insane, like completely over the top.
Yeah, I remember Alpine used to just go really wild.
Really hard, like super hard. So like going at that time, you saw a lot more crazier things. And then in the audio side of it is like, I think that's the first place I ever saw like a celebrity.
Really?
Yeah, like all of it.
I would say the same for sure. Like and like more than just one.
More than one. Like I was walking through there and I saw, who did I see? Like Ice Cube, Ice-T, God, the giant guy.
Mr. T?
No, it's another rapper, but he was like enormous.
Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes.
Yay.
I walked by, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's
Busta
amazing.
Rhymes. I've met Mario Andretti.
Wow.
Like all these
Jay
crazy
Leno.
people. Yeah, all these crazy people back in the day. Now it's more influencers than actual legitimate celebrities. Aside from obviously the race car guys and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, as far as television celebrities and music celebrities, that used to be super common. Now it's all sort of subsided, and the projects have changed. So like you had those crazy ones, and then you transitioned into, I'd say, okay, let's say 15-year period. The first 5 years was that kind of wildness, like all kinds of crazy shit. And then you got into like the $1 million street rod builds where they're like nuts, over the top, like shooting for absolute perfection. And then transition into resto mods, I would say, which is still a big, huge thing, where cars started transitioning into like, shit, these are real cars. Now, YouTube junk.
Okay, so before, I just wanted you guys to define what is a resto mod versus a street rod. What is the difference?
I'd say street rods probably fall in that like 32 to early 50s, late 40s.
Yeah,
It's like hot rods, your traditional sort of hot rods.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, chop top,
all sort of hot rod, that kind
Model
of stuff.
Ts
And then you
and-
got into the muscle car stuff, which is more like now, like resto mods, which are like at this current point is probably the craziest time in the history of cars.
pretty amazing.
Because the cars now, like people want to drive them and they're awesome.
Like,
But so much of that stuff gets like, you got guys like Roadster Shop and all these guys building like just phenomenal cars being overshadowed by something that somebody hot glued together in their garage. So I was like, I can't even imagine how frustrating it is for some of these places. Like, it's crazy.
yeah, because Roadster Shop, like, they build insane cars.
You have these guys that are like literally innovators in the game, the absolute top of the game. Like, we look up to them, everybody looks up to them. They're literally the front runners. We're trying to emulate everything that they do, and then you got some jackass like is like now judging these guys. Like, who the hell made that decision? That is the craziest shit I ever seen. Like, you have no experience building anything decent, and you're gonna somehow be put on a judging panel for like literally the giants in the industry. It doesn't make any sense, man. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, considering the level of effort, like sweat equity, money, and everything that goes involved into like building any one of these projects, if and like when you're up and coming and you're like you're trying to rise in the industry, if you're being judged, I mean, that's more important to people that are usually trying to come up. If you're being judged by people that really don't even know what they're even looking at, and that could make or break, you as a business, that's not cool, man. Whatever, but like that's one of the downfalls, I would have to say, that where the direction of some of it has gone. There are a lot of positive ways that SEMA has sort of evolved as well, and like if you as a business want to take advantage of that kind of stuff, like some of the seminars and things that like will help you as a business, there's lots of good ways.
The core foundation of SEMA is still like, so much of that is not even known. Like, all the resources that you have available to you and all that sort of side of SEMA is amazing. Like I think they should spend more time promoting that of what SEMA actually is, rather than SEMA in like mainstream is like people think it's a car show.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's not a car show at all.
Yeah.
Like these are mostly supposed to be like representations of different companies' products, but somehow it's morphed into this like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that you see there, it's like turned into like hype. And I think the quality of the cars is just continued to fall. But the guys that are, the solid guys that are still doing it, that are still pushing, that are building amazing things, I just don't know if they have the same value. At least in our circle, you talk to people, before going to SEMA was like a big deal. Like, oh, guys are going to SEMA? Now it's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to go this year. I'm not, like I might hit up this, and this, where you're going to more of where your customer base is instead of going there, because like the association to it is just so bad now. Like it's just from that side of it. Like you say to SEMA to any one of these kids and they're like, oh my God, another SEMA build. And it's like, that's not what it should be. Like back in the day, having a SEMA build, like I don't know how, we must busted our ass for 10 years to get a car into SEMA.
10 years?
Yeah, because like the perception to us is like it had to be like top tier. Like you didn't want to show up and embarrass yourself. Now embarrassing yourself is only almost part of the equation.
Almost part of it, yes.
Yeah,
and it's almost celebrated in a way. Like, oh shoot, Bluetooth drive shaft.
Like
or
the shittier it is, the better.
Work
like,
is not very good. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of that. You see a lot of that in like the content creators and stuff like that. Some of the things that they bring to represent, and it's just it's poor. That sucks, man.
Yeah, because you also have to look at it from, it's not just for content creators. That is their business. That is their soul. That's what they do. They create content.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because I create content on the side too.
Yeah.
But I'm not full time like they are like some of the really big channels, but they create content, and it's for YouTube. A lot of times you only see, they don't show you up close and personal. You don't see the details, because some channels that I watch or that I used to watch, I would see their builds from the YouTube point of view, and it looked cool. It looked great. But I guess you only see what they show you, because from a lot of the things that I've seen, or like there's some people that have made it their goal, which is so funny, of like checking out influencers' YouTube builds and seeing how terrible it is, like pointing out all the flaws. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And even chatting with you guys too, when I started working at the shop and seeing what your work was like, and then comparing it to what I had seen on YouTube and on all these videos that were showing these imperfections in these builds. And it's like, they don't give it the same level of attention, because also for YouTube, you're earning money. Like you can't spend 2,000 hours working on one thing, and because YouTube is just over like that. I mean, you can, but it'll just take you a while. But with YouTubers, like, they have to make videos every week or every other week, and I feel like that also plays into the part of they are not putting quality as on the forefront.
Yeah, and I feel like that is one of the things that's hurting the aftermarket industry and like what SEMA represents. I would say that the misrepresentation of certain products, sponsors and things that get aboard on certain things like that, it's like they're being misrepresented through poor craftsmanship, and I feel like that's not a good thing. And so that's kind of like, where I look at it and like, this is a negative situation. That's not cool, because like all these, like, that's what SEMA is about, is like seeing all the new product, and the cars and motorcycles, whatever's being built, is there to showcase this stuff and show that off in a very positive light. These are real businesses putting a lot of investment into these things. And if they sponsor somebody that like creates just some trash that's misrepresenting their product, then that's harming the industry more than it is giving it any kind of light. Like, yes, you are showing more people through the content creators sort of avenues of marketing, or
I don't necessarily
you know what I mean,
think those guys are buyers. Like, I think the disconnect is that YouTube is, and those builds are entertainment.
Yes.
Like, it's just
primarily entertainment.
For entertainment. And then like for us to be struggling as a business and doing all these things, and like he says, like these products are being misrepresented because I don't think they're being put in the hands of people that can
Showcase
present
it
them properly. And the people that need them and want to use them, and we don't get opportunity because this guy gets more views because he's doing some wild shit and then goes and makes a big mess of it.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing left for anybody else that are actually supporting the industry, that were in the industry and we're going to become repetitive customers. And people rely on us to recommend products. Like even in my day-to-day, it's like, what would you use? I'm like, well, I would use this. But I have to have had purchased it at some point to understand it, to be able to recommend it to somebody else. Whereas a lot of these guys are just getting free just because they're out wrecking it. But I mean, that's not even my biggest problem with the whole thing. Like my biggest whole problem with all of it is that they're being placed on a
pedestal,
as though they've, you know, like you got a guy that's been doing it for 20 years that's literally a master and has honed his ability to create beautiful products. And then this guy, because he has
more views,
he's hacked a bunch of stuff together, somehow gets a place to judge this person. I'm like, that I do not agree with. And I've actually lost a lot of respect for SEMA because of it.
Wow.
Like because if you kill yourself and you go spend $250,000 building something to be the absolute best representation of your company, and it gets overshadowed because
this guy people
wrapped his car with a cartoon character and did a bunch of janky shit and it shoots flames, overshadows all your efforts because he's into it for $1,500 and is willing to burn it to the ground in front of everybody. I don't agree with that, man. So
it's like reality though. Like that's the reality of it.
Yeah, and we're guilty of it currently right now.
Yeah, even with the Euroho.
The Euroho project
was nice.
Meant to be fun, and we didn't really put a lot of time and effort in it, and the amount of traction it's got is crazy. And the fact that like we busted our asses for how many years to put like a $250,000 Impala into SEMA and get an invite, and we were like by the back door. Like literally by the parking lot, and this car was amazing. And then we go hack this thing together with 4 Diablo Sawzall blades and, you know, zip it up. And it's like, hey, you want to bring that to SEMA? You're like, what? Like literally I killed myself on this other car. And then this thing that we got 15 hours into gets to go to SEMA. I'm like, no.
No, for that one, I think it's different because they believe that because of what we've done in the past, the cars that we've put out, that we're going to put the same level of attention to this project.
You might be right about that.
We will. I feel like that's where it's come. Yes.
Man. It's pretty easy to see.
Yeah, but it's not done. It's in the process. No car starts out looking amazing from the onset. Like it's where you take it to that matters. And I feel like they see that potential based on previous things that you've done and you've taken to SEMA. That's where I see it. I might be wrong, but I'm looking at it in that light. So
that's a very positive outlook.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think you're wrong, but I appreciate it. I don't think they give a shit. They just want the hype.
I don't know. I'll say honestly, it's probably a bit of both.
Maybe.
I think it's a bit of both because,
we can meet in the middle on that one.
Yeah.
Because we aren't going to make it completely shitty, but you're definitely not giving it the attention that we give to other things.
No, and I was also telling Rob too, like of some comments that I just saw today on YouTube, and people are saying that the work is, what did they use? It's it was like a very nice word, but pretty much saying that the quality of our work is good. Like the craftsmanship is amazing.
Amazing craftsmanship.
Yeah.
A couple times.
And like even on that project, I wouldn't really like call it like Rob put a lot of time into it, but I feel like people have not seen what good craftsmanship looks, or we were being fed on YouTube the not quality but quantity, and so you see a lot of janky things, and so that's what people know from seeing for so long now, because it's ingrained in our culture now. It's like, oh, YouTube, every other week you look at it,
rewarded for it.
Yes,
which is sad because I mean we struggled and pushed for so hard to be good and get good and emulate these guys that are good, and the fact that it's being overshadowed by is a little bit disheartening.
Yeah, it is.
Because now you have to almost go search those people out where they're being celebrated before. Like, I'd be excited, like, oh man, I want to go see the new Roaster Shop car. Now it's like you don't even hear about them.
So sad.
It's like you get just fed all this other stuff and you're just like, man, I don't care for this stuff, but I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, most of this is like stems from like, you know, just the algorithms and the social media
That might
thing.
be
Like,
part
I
of it.
mean, shops like Roadster Shop, I mean, they have real social media platforms and they do really well, but they most definitely are not like
But see, now
some of the, you know, the most common influencers.
like I've mentioned to you, and you're like, nope, that's not the case. Since we've done the Euroho, now recently somebody did a 6x6 Urus. And do you know
Really?
how many? Yes, it's horrible.
I think I saw the picture of that. I didn't know
how
that was
many
real.
people- yeah, you know how many people have hit me up now and be like, "Is this you?" I'm
Oh,
like, man,
my
this is not what
gosh!
I want to be known for. Like,
No, that if it's, I thought that was like a render. I didn't know that was
no,
real.
it's
That's real.
So now
Oh, it looked so bad. I'll put a picture of it on the
now every
video.
weird janky build
Oh,
out there
no.
is like now they think we did it. I'm like, oh man.
Oh no! But I also think that is an opportunity to show people with this build what a terrible build is like and what a nice build is, because when they see, at least even though we're not putting our like the most time into this,
We're not putting our best foot forward on this one for
but
sure.
but we're still not gonna leave it as janky as some other content creators.
Which yeah,
No, because we do have a certain amount of pride
Yeah.
in what we do.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It was fun taking the whole thing apart and beating the thing up and all of that, bringing out all the saw blades. But
any opportunity you get to destroy some shit is always
always
a good
fun.
time. You should take advantage of that as
Yes.
often as
it's
you
actually
possibly
created
can.
its own industry. These smash rooms.
Yeah,
So
we were
had
just
one
looking
here.
at it.
I know
also.
we had one here.
Yeah,
And so
I was
yeah,
like, yeah, that was just us as kids. That's just what we did.
Yeah, we broke
smash things. Yeah,
just broke shit.
Yeah, just find out what's on the inside.
Yeah. Anyways,
But-
yeah.
yeah. I feel like with the Euroho project, even though again we're not going to give it as much attention as we would our regular builds, but it's still not going to be as janky. And the people that have started following us because of the Euroho, a lot of them have also said, "Oh shoot, you guys make." Or it looks like you guys make cool things. I'm checking out the rest of your videos. So
Yeah,
I feel like
and I think in underlying is like that's the whole reason why I'm even trying to put effort into it at all, because I mean
Yeah.
the Euroho was fun for us and it's cool, but like I want to drive traffic to some of the things that matter a lot more to us, that we're more prideful on what we've done.
Yeah, so people know where you stand, even though like on Instagram and all of that stuff. So yeah, because a lot of the people that we follow, over half, don't even know, like they only know us for the Euroho. And so I feel like it's almost trying to
Educate a certain demographic.
do a public service.
Yes.
Hey, we're
of
just
what good
playing the
work
game.
is.
We're just playing the game.
Yeah,
We're just
it is
playing
the
the
game,
game.
man. So that's pretty much it.
But we still got to hear your perception of what
Oh
SEMA is.
gosh. Okay.
Having never been.
Cole,
because
so
I know
you've
this is
never
like a
been.
bucket list thing
Yes,
for you.
for me it's a
this
huge
year
bucket list.
is your first
Oh.
year that you get to go.
And
Yes.
and honestly, I'm really excited for you to go,
Yeah.
because it is
everything.
It always was, and I believe right now, even still, it is an absolute must see for everybody, because it is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Regardless of some of the things that are happening, you know, in the way it's kind of transitioning, it is still amazing, because there's a lot of like crazy
stuff.
beautiful stuff there that might be getting overshadowed in some of the socials, but
But if you know to
It is
look
amazing.
for it, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So like my thoughts are, like you said, it's a bucket list item for me. I've always wanted to go to SEMA ever since I knew what it was, ever since I became a car enthusiast. And I am very just ecstatic to go and see some of the really cool things and the cool builds and just the environment of it all, because I know that is also a big part of SEMA too. It's just the environment. Everyone there is like-minded. Everyone loves the same thing for the most part. And I'm just so pumped to experience it. I'm a huge YouTube person too. I love watching YouTube. And so it would be cool too to see some of the people that that I've probably watched for a few years.
because they're all going to be there.
Yeah, and it would be cool to see people that we've also built relationships with.
Yes.
online.
That
like,
part of it's pretty
yeah,
cool,
like
because
people
I
like
have met a lot of people online and become friends with them. So it's kind of that one place that you can almost count on everybody being there.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem is that we find is there's just not enough time.
Yeah, that's
Like,
so true.
You can miss people that you're like 100%, bro.
Wow.
We're meeting up, and then it's like a week blows by, and you're like, I didn't
Oh,
get to
shoot.
see anybody.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, because it's just that huge. It's that grand of an experience in every way. Like there's,
Yeah.
it's enormous and it's unbelievably cool.
Yeah, like in the early days, we used to try to walk the whole thing,
Yeah.
see the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what I had at that time, some kind of iPhone, and was like, we were averaging 14 kilometers a day. So over the course of the week, you're literally walking like 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers.
Wow.
So it's like goes way back to like walking to school, you know, uphill
Uphill
both
both
ways kind of thing. Back in the day, you see, we used to have to pack bags and you'd grab brochures
Yeah,
from every
brochures,
single one of the
pamphlets.
booths.
what?
Yeah.
So you were
Yeah,
basically.
so like print media was a big thing back in the day.
And you didn't want to miss out on anything. 'Cause you got
Wow.
some, like they put real effort into catalogs. Like they were nice.
Yeah.
I love catalogs even now.
Who doesn't?
Plus they have yeah, everybody loves print catalogs. And
Yeah.
then there they had like all the magazine publications would put out free copies. So there's,
Yeah.
I think it's still there.
Yeah.
It's like there's literally a 50-foot section, like 4 magazines
Oh
deep, of
my
all the magazines.
goodness.
So you're just taking all the current
Nice.
copies. You'd be walking out of there at the end of the night with like a 40-pound ruck on your back.
yeah.
And
You're putting in work, man.
Lyft was not a thing. Uber was not a thing. So you could wait like 3-4 hours for a taxi
For a cab?
which we would never do. So now you're walking another 5-6K back to your hotel
Yeah.
with this thing on your back, and away you go. Now it's like,
Wow.
and then they did the scan thing for a while. Then they'd send you the catalog
Yeah.
to the shop.
Yeah.
So then for 2 months after SEMA, it's just like
Just catalog
the
on
mailman is
nonstop.
just the mailman's like, you
He's tired.
fuck this SEMA thing.
So now it's all digital. So it's you're putting in
QR
a lot
codes
less
and everything.
Work, but
Yeah, now it's all QR codes, and then you get a link to their website.
Wow.
They're not sending you nothing, but there used to be like a sticker festival, like just all the stickers,
That's so
all
funny.
the catalogs, like it was, and you'd have
actually,
a bag a
I
day.
miss that.
Yeah,
I
you'd
miss
have
that stuff.
a carry-on just full of magazines.
Just magazines. That's cool. I love magazines. Like
So
it's cool
still
seeing
to
car
this day,
magazines.
like the magazine thing is still a thing. So it's one of the it's the must-have. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, every day you flip through the magazine.
Yeah.
you know, you do that anyways.
Yeah, and then now
cool.
like the other side of it is like back in the day, you would see all these people that made all these things, and now they're almost celebrity status. Some of these people, so it's like this guy makes an engine, like, and then you get to go meet like, oh shit, that's the guy.
crazy.
But like before, it was just a guy, but now because of social media, they almost have celebrity
yeah,
status.
yeah.
So you get opportunity to go around and meet the guy that made your motor, or makes this, or makes that, and it's like that part of it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite things in the last couple of years is like actually going to each and every one of the, you know, our people that we deal with in business and like shake hands and like get FaceTime in that. Like it's like old school stuff, but it means a lot, and it's actually one of the dying things that isn't that common anymore. Like I had so many conversations with people. They're like, man, why? You know, that's really cool that you came and fucking said hi, man. It's like this thing doesn't.
That's
these things
amazing.
don't happen very much
And these
anymore.
are like sponsors, people that have given us stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it only makes sense to go and be like, "Hey, thanks
Yeah,
for giving
thank
me
you.
that."
Yeah.
And they're literally blown away. They're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, because your perception as well is like these guys are like big guys and they don't have time for you. But most of these businesses, you know, that but previous to this are guys like us that created a business.
Yes.
And then you go there and it's like you get to meet Mr. Granatelli.
yeah,
You're like,
It's
"Oh,
like-
shit."
you're like, wow, this
But
is
you
so
think
cool.
Granatelli or whoever, pick any one of these companies, it doesn't
Like
really
it's such
matter.
a big.
It's such a huge thing, but
Yeah.
then you find out it's like 5 guys. It's him, his son, and like 8 other guys that are
It's so
doing it,
cool.
and it's so crazy.
Yeah.
and they appreciate that stuff. Like it's a big, huge thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like people are almost too intimidated because they think everybody's some kind of celebrity. and it's not. These are all normal dudes that like building cars.
Yeah.
Social media has become a very small part of, well, a big part of our business, but it's not our business.
No.
So like these are still just normal people trying to build cool shit. So I think it makes it a lot tougher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I am.
or the other side of it is social media makes some of these people think that they know you. And that's
Well, that's always
that-
weird.
That's kind of weird. Like that's something that we're adapting to because
you
it's like,
know, in that time you blah blah
Yeah,
blah
and
did
you're like,
this
what?
and that. I don't remember.
like having people approach you in public is like
They're still getting used to that.
Getting used to that. Like it's happening increasingly more often.
Yeah.
But it's like that side of it's a little weird too that you got to adjust to. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of these guys that are a lot more active, I can't even imagine what they got to deal with.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Like
man.
it's got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to experiencing it for the first time. It's
Yeah.
gonna be. I'm sure.
Bring more than one pair of shoes,
Oh yeah.
like probably 3.
Wow. I'm so pumped. And then of course experiencing like all the. At least I'll try to see if I can attend some like seminars or whatever there because I've heard those are also really
There's
cool.
hundreds.
There's
of
a
them.
lot
Like,
of
you
them,
gotta
right?
plan
And
it in advance.
you pick and choose the sort of like the topics in which you want to sort of gravitate towards. I mean, you're social media, like digital, like editing, all that kind of stuff. There's seminars for that.
And we
You
sat
know,
in
like-
on panels of like industry giants
That's so cool.
that you would never, and you're like 3 rows back from like your 6 heroes, and they're telling you how they did it. Like
Yeah.
there's no place else in the world that you could get that. And then like I've even seen posts. I think we sat in on one seminar, and I can't recall the guy's name, but we just went. Like it seemed like a good thing, so we went. We listened. It was super cool. He had a lot of insightful shit to say. And then the next time I seen that guy seminar being presented, the tickets were like, you know, like his appearance fees like $75,000. The tickets are like $300, and I was like, oh shit.
and you were
Like,
just
yeah, I
pretty
just sat
cool.
in for this guy for free because of
Wow.
the topic he was discussing. But apparently, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
So then you start to look into all these other things, and it's like, there's no other place that
That
you
you
can
get to-
literally go sit in front of the guy that's the guy. Like,
Yeah.
That's cool.
you know, a lot of these guys literally single-handedly created sub-industries within our industry,
Yep.
and he'll tell you how he did it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. So it's there if you want it. It's not just, you know, flashy cars and hype mobiles. It's like there's legitimate stuff there to.
Yeah, it's more than just a straight up car show, right? If you want to go there with business in mind, man, there's no reason why you can't make it. You can go and shake hands with the giants of
Yeah.
the industry, and they'll tell you how. And most of them are
They're
pretty rad
cool,
people.
man. I
Yeah.
have not encountered
have
one-
respect.
Like a
Asshole.
disappointing, yeah.
Like not
like don't
yet.
meet your heroes moment.
I haven't had one of those yet.
That's
no,
awesome.
I haven't either. No.
I have had one but it's for not a SEMA, like a YouTube personality
Oh yeah.
type deal.
Well,
They shall not be named here, but but it was not it was not as pleasant as it could have been. And I felt like I walked away from that conversation feeling like I wasn't even like I was just like, oh, another like I was like psh. Like it was
you
weird.
got to be conscious of it because I had a bad experience like that when I went to go meet one of my heroes, and then I don't hold any resentment because I know what it's like now. I walked into Boyd Coddington's shop in the hopes of meeting him, and then at that time they were shooting American Hot Rod. So like me walking into the middle of it at that particular time, I left with kind of a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, that sucked, man. But then now having like just the tiniest little taste of what that situation and what was actually going on at that time is like, yeah, of course. I'm the same way. Like I get so into a project and then somebody walks in the shop and like, hey, I just want to see.
Yeah.
But you try to shake it off and be like, hey man, yeah, and then cut it short and carry on with what, because we're trying to work, like actually trying to work. But you know, when you get interrupted in the moment, it can be frustrating, even from our customers. You're like, man, I just trying to get a flow here, just leave me alone. But so yeah, I don't really. It's pretty crazy. But other than that single situation,
yeah.
life's been good. So hopefully we don't come off like assholes.
I know.
We're
so,
just busy and trying to work. So if we do, sorry.
Yeah, and if you see any of us, if you're at SEMA and see any of us, don't hesitate to
hesitate.
come say hello. So yes,
Don't be a hoe. Say hello.
if you don't know that reference, the Euro the body swapped Lambo Tahoe thing. So yeah, go check out our channels. I think anything else
I don't know.
before we end this one.
So like, okay, so SEMA is not open to public. Okay, so SEMA is industry specific.
This year it is.
But on
This year, I think
Friday-
it has open.
Yeah.
Is it?
Friday's open to the
No,
public.
and
First
so-
time ever, I think.
No, because every year they do SEMA Ignited. All right, and that's on the Friday because SEMA is technically over on
Yeah,
Thursday.
but now you can go into
Yeah,
the
this
show.
Friday. Yeah, anyone can go into the show.
into the main show.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, the
shit!
first
So
time
that is a
ever.
new thing.
One day,
then.
yeah.
So
One
that's
day.
a new thing. But
So-
every other year, yeah, you know, so all the SEMA cars would get together. Not all of them, but a bunch of them would go
Most.
to another place, and they had this whole open to public thing. You'd have to pay to come in, and then that was like a more typical car show with, you know, events happening and, you know, beer
the
and all
cars
the stuff.
from
And
the
it was,
show.
it was awesome, right? Like that was one of the highlights. And anybody that I've ever talked to that's not in the industry, I'm like, yeah, just come down for the Friday, man. SEMA
Even
Ignited.
for us, because
super,
Ignited,
super
like,
fun.
You walk through there, you're going to miss stuff because it's
Yeah.
just so overwhelming. So SEMA Ignited is a good opportunity to see all the actual SEMA cars, and you'll walk through that show and be like, I don't remember seeing this car. I don't remember seeing that car.
Well, yeah, and then some of the side benefit of that, you see some of these SEMA cars that you've literally just been walking by.
Wow.
They're static all week, and then you see them, they fire up and they're driving around.
That's cool.
And you're like, man, that's what we came for, right? That's what you want to see. You want to see these real cars, these beautiful pieces driving around, being used, and just the vibe, man. It's super cool. So anybody not in the industry, they want to come down to SEMA, this is the year.
Friday's your day.
Do it.
Friday's your day.
Because it's amazing. You should definitely do it. Put it on your bucket list.
Awesome. I think with that said, we will see you guys next week. Have a glorious week. If you like this video / podcast, give it a thumbs up, give it 5 stars, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Cheers.